All right, everybody. Good late morning now. Hope you guys are doing well, although let's face it, you are. We all know it, and it's not hard to see why. Life is good right now if you're a Seahawks fan. That's just how this works. But we got to keep pushing forward. The NFL does not stop running just because the Seahawks are Super Bowl champions. And we got stuff to talk about as it pertains to offensive coordinator. Now, before I get into this conversation, real quick, one thing I want to say is I know the parade is tomorrow. I'm working on it. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get up there or not for it. I'm going to just say that now. I don't know, but I am making an attempt, and we'll see if I'm able to get up there or not. Not easy for me to get up there, but I am working on it. So anybody who wants to know about that, that is coming, and anybody who's excited about the hot tub stream, I think I'm going to go ahead and do that tonight. All right. All right, guys, hold up because my friends at Sleeper are introducing some new features, and I want to tell you guys about them before we go any further. Sleeper is launching Team Picks, a new prediction market product. So now, on top of all the over-unders you can pick over on their Sleeper app, you can now pick on games. For instance, if you take a look to my left on the screen right now, you can see you can make a pick on the Super Bowl. They also have some bonuses available on over-unders for players. So there's now way more stuff you can get up to over on Sleeper. Get on over there before the Super Bowl, and don't forget to use the promo code SBN for a 100% match up to $100 on your first deposit. And don't forget to utilize the free $20 entry that you get just for making an account. So the Super Bowl is almost here. Make sure you get on Sleeper and have some fun with sports. All right, so offensive coordinator stuff, it seems like it's moving really quickly. To be perfectly honest, it almost sounds like we're going to know who our offensive coordinator is in the next few days. In fact, part of me even wonders if we're going to know by the time this video gets uploaded. It's pretty early Tuesday morning for me right now, and by the time this video goes live, then maybe it's already known. I don't know, but I'm going to go ahead and do what I usually do in situations like this, and if the Seahawks decide to make a quick hire, then I guess I have fewer videos to make this off season. Okay, so we're going to start with one of the most likely candidates, and I'm just going to go ahead and open up this series this year with a bunch of guys that are currently on the staff, because as of right now, it sure seems like this team is looking to promote somebody from in-house. So we may as well start with those guys, go over their resume, and just see what we're getting into. Now, I've talked about Jake Peetz before because we thought about he was at least on the list for offensive coordinator last year. So if you were watching my videos last year, you probably have already heard of Jake Peetz and you probably already seen data like this. But it was a year ago. Things have changed and may as well update with the latest and greatest. So let's talk about Jake Peetz for a little bit. 40 years old, young. Not that that really matters. If he gets an OC job and he does well, he's going to get a head coaching job somewhere very quickly. But the last 2 years, he has been the Seattle Seahawks pass game coordinator. So this is kind of interesting, right? He was brought in under Ryan Grubb, but he survived past Ryan Grubb, right? Usually, when you get rid of an OC like Ryan Grubb, you would clear out the offensive staff beneath him. But we decided to keep Peetz around in the same role. You don't see that all the time. So even though Ryan Grubb did not work out, we clearly saw something with Peetz that we liked and decided to maintain, even though we didn't give him the offensive coordinator role. Now, passing game coordinator, you take a look at the Seahawks passing game the last 2 years. Last year it was very good. They ranked 8th in passing yards, and that was with us winning a lot of blowouts where we didn't throw the ball that much. And remember, we were 30th in the league in passing attempts, so we were extremely efficient and extremely explosive with the passing yards we got. And we were also 8th in dropback EPA, 0.137. So very good, not quite elite, but considering who he was working with offensively, that's pretty extraordinary, right? He was not working with Torrey Holt and Isaac Bruce, and who was the guy? Aziz Hakim. I can't remember the greatest show on turf slot receiver. His name slips on my mind. I know they had Ricky Prohl later, but you guys get what I'm saying, right? JSN was incredible. Ken Walker's great. Sam Darnold ended up being really good, but he was not working with the greatest show on turf here. And the year before that, the Seahawks had a lot of passing yards, 4,000, which was eighth again. Their dropback EPA, though, was below average, 0.044, 20th in the league. Now, look, obviously, Clint Kubiak owns most of this, and Ryan Grubb owns most of this, but we have to work with whatever evidence we have when making determinations on how to feel about a guy like Jake Peetz, because we are not in the building. We don't know what he's doing behind closed doors. We don't know what impression he's leaving on the staff. So this is all we have to go on. I understand it's imperfect, but we do the best we can as fans, right? All right. So the year before the Seahawks hired him, he was the pass game specialist for the LA Rams for 1 year, 2023. This was a year where the Rams went to the playoffs. I think they lost to the Lions in the first round, but they were a wild card team. They were a playoff team, 2023. And the Rams passing game was good, not great. Just over 4,000 passing yards that year, which was 10th, and they were .086 in dropback EPA, which was 11th. This was the Puka Nacua breakout season. Cooper Kupp, when he played, he was pretty good. And generally speaking, it was an effective passing attack. It was not the greatest. It was not everything that the McVay Rams represent and the Stafford Rams represent. But it was a good season overall, and he was part of that. Obviously, McVay owns the Rams offense and certainly their passing attack, but this is the role that Peetz had for that Rams team. The year before that, he was also on the Rams, but he was an offensive assistant. So 2022, unfortunately, we're not going to learn a lot here because this was the year where the Rams had a billion injuries. Stafford got hurt. Cooper Kupp got hurt, of course. That's just the offensive side of the ball. They were beat up and down the offensive line. They were playing like third string running backs at one point. Defensively, Aaron Donald got hurt. Everybody was hurt that year, and they were a terrible team. They won 5 games. And by the end of the year, they were playing Baker Mayfield, who was on his 3rd team that year at that point. 2022, 18.1 points per game, which was bottom 5, actually. No, bottom 6. And negative .083 EPA per play, which was 29th. So one of the worst offenses in football. They were terrible, but they lost all their players, so it is what it is. So not much you're going to be able to take away there. LSU in 2021. This is kind of interesting. It's college football, which I don't know how to feel about that, but he was the offensive coordinator and the quarterback coach for the LSU Tigers in 2021. Now, the LSU Tigers in 2021 were not very good. They were 6-6. I think they lost their bowl game. And Ed Oregon got fired at the end of that. No, wait, he didn't get fired at the end of that year, but it was not a good year. LSU was mediocre in 2021. They had the 80th ranked offense in college football, 26.5 points per game. So the offense was below average. And the quarterback was not somebody most people remember, Max Johnson, who did have a pretty decent year, but it wasn't anything over the top. 2,800 yards, 27 touchdowns. 6 interceptions, 60.3 completion percentage, just kind of decent, workable, but not great. Okay, going back further, you've got Carolina Panthers. He was the quarterback coach in 2020, the COVID year. The main quarterback he had in 2020 was Teddy Bridgewater, who is kind of the definition of a replacement level quarterback, just kind of a guy who's okay, but not really going to take you any further than that. Bridgewater that year was decent. 3,700 yards, 15 touchdowns, 11 interceptions, 69.1 completion percentage. So, okay, but not really something you're putting on your resume and feeling great about. And the year before that, he was actually the running back coach in Carolina. So that's interesting, right? Because everything else on this resume is like the passing game. You're a quarterback coach. You're a pass game specialist. You're a pass game coordinator. He does have 1 year as a running back coach, 2019, and it was very, very successful. Christian McCaffrey, one of the best running backs of this era, almost 1,400 rushing yards, 1,000 receiving yards, 19 touchdowns, almost 400 touches, actually over 400 touches, and he made All-Pro first team. Now, Christian McCaffrey's a great player. He's been great with other running back coaches as well, but that's something you can feel pretty proud about if you're Jake Peetz. Alabama Crimson Tide. This is the one year he was under Nick Saban over there, offensive analyst. So pretty low down the totem pole, but I mean, it's Alabama. So 2018, Alabama was great this year. They made the national championship game, but they got blown out by Clemson. But that was the only game they lost all year. Stuff happens. This was a stacked Alabama team. It was one of the ones that Tua started on. They also had Jalen Hurts and Mac Jones on the bench. Jerry Jeudy was on that team. I think Josh Jacobs was on that team. It was a loaded group of players, and a lot of those guys made the NFL and are still in the NFL today. So great stuff, but again, I mean, he was an offensive analyst. Before then, he was an assistant for 3 years in various roles on the Oakland Raiders, back when they were the Oakland Raiders. 2017, he was the quarterback coach. Derek Carr had a decent year. This was obviously after he broke his leg, and he was not the same after he broke the leg. 3,500 yards, 22 touchdowns, 13 picks, 62.7 completion. Year before that, this was before Derek Carr broke his leg, assistant quarterback coach. And Derek Carr had an incredible year, 4,000 yards, 28 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. And the broken leg really kind of derailed what his career was. So that was unfortunate. And then the year before that, he was a senior offensive assistant, 2015. The Raiders' offense was average, 22.4 points per game, 17th. So not stellar, but not bad either. So some good stuff here. He was part of the Washington Redskins coaching staff as an offensive quality control coach in 2014. This would be winding down the RG3 era, I suppose. And this was one of the years where Sean McVay was the offensive coordinator for Washington. So his connection to McVay goes all the way back here. Now, Washington had a terrible offense this year. This was one of the years they were really bad. 18.8 points per game, 26th in the league. I remember Colt McCoy started some of this season for the Redskins, and I think they just didn't have a lot to work with. It was not a good year. Year before that, he was back with the Alabama Crimson Tide. This was 2013, and it was not one of the better Alabama offenses in 2013, but it was still very good. So 38.2 points per game, 17th in the league. So serving as an offensive analyst under Nick Saban there. I mean, Nick Saban is no joke. A lot of credibility there, but again, lower role. And then you can peel it back to 2012, Jacksonville, the Jacksonville Jaguars assistant quarterback coach for 1 year for Chad Henne and Blaine Gabbert. So not really anything to be happy about there. Chad Henne, kind of the definition of mediocre, not even mediocre really, threw for like 2,100 yards, 11 touchdowns, 11 picks, very low completion percentage. And then you had a little bit of Blaine Gabbert, 1,700 yards, 9 touchdowns, 6 picks, 58.3 completion, so pretty awful. So nothing to really hang your hat on here. And he also served as a scout in the Jacksonville organization from 2008 to 2011. Not really a lot to be happy about from here. The high picks Jacksonville had during this run: Derek Harvey, Eugene Monroe, Tyson Alualu, and Blaine Gabbert. So not something that he wants people looking at too much, but that was a long time ago. The more recent stuff on this resume, at the very least, some of it's good, right? Like this most recent year was good. So there's not a ton I can glean from this, I will admit. We can do the best that we can. But when I look at this resume, I see a guy who's done some good stuff and done some bad stuff. But what role did he really have in the good stuff, and what role did he really have in the bad stuff? That's the hard part here. But if he is the guy, then we're just hoping he learned a lot from McVay and that he learned a lot from Kubiak. And I'm also hoping that him being associated with the passing game does not mean he's going to come in here and make us pass too much. This needs to be a running team. We need to play from under center, and we need to hit play action. So we do those things, we'll be fine. But is Jake Peetz the guy to do that? I don't know, but that's the resume. See you guys later. Go Hawks. More stuff coming soon.